For the PEDS assessment project, Natalie and myself have prepared a voiceover PowerPoint and a YouTube video for the school functional assessment. The name of the assessment is the School Functional Assessment. There are 4 authors: Wendy Koster, Teresa Deeney, Jane Haltiwanger, and Stephen Haley. It was first published in 1998 by the NCS Pearson, Inc. This assessment is appropriate for children aged 6 to 12 years old or in kindergarten through 6th grade. And it measures 3 different domains. First, participation, second, task performance, and third, activity performance. This assessment aims to target pediatric disorders such as cerebral palsy, Down syndrome, autism, speech and language impairments, learning disabilities, and visual impairments. As for the assessment psychometric properties, for the standardization process, the assessment uses several standardized tests, including intelligence tests, academic skills tests, and adaptive behavior measures. As for validity, the construct validity, ANOVA mean ratings across all settings was significant. The PODCI predicted performance in all 31 subscales of the school functional assessment and comorbidity scales were included was R equals 0.35 to 0.64. As for reliability, the test-retest reliability ranged from adequate to excellent according to 4 studies, and the intra-rater reliability is adequate for all 3 domains. As for the format of the test, it is administered through paper and pencil.
As for the administration of the school functional assessment, it takes between 90 to 120 minutes to administer, whereas individual scales can be completed in as little as 5 to 10 minutes. Materials of the assessment include the user's manual, which has directions for administering the assessment, the record form where you record the client's scores, and the rating scale guide, which gives an interpretation for the different ratings. As far as the ease of use, the rating scale guide has detailed and easy to understand descriptions for each of the 3 parts of the assessment, and the record form is easy to follow and provides detailed sections on the student's information as well as school information. It is also organized into the 3 different parts of the assessment. Scoring of the assessment. For the participation section, scoring is on a rating scale from 1 to 6, and for both task and activity performance sections, scoring is on a rating scale from 1 to 4. Then all of the scores for each of the domains are added together separately to get the participation raw score, which is then converted to a criterion score using the rating scale guide. Time needed to score would be between 20 to 30 minutes. As far as scores yielded, there's a rating scale for all 3 domains of the assessment. Part 1, participation, a rating of 1 would be participation extremely limited, all the way to a rating of 6, which would be full participation. Part 2, task supports, a rating of 1 would be extensive assistance, all the way to a 4, which would be no assistance. Part 3, activity performance, a rating of 1 would be does not perform, all the way to 4, which would be consistent performance. For the reassessment time frame, it would take between 90 to 120 minutes to administer the whole assessment again, or between 5 to 10 minutes for each individual scale, depending on what you needed to reassess. Use in practice. To purchase a school functional assessment, you can go to this website listed here at pearsonassessments.com. As far as the cost of the assessment, to buy the complete kit, which includes a user manual, 25 record forms, and 3 rating scale guides, would be $261. You can also purchase the rating scale guide, user manual, and record forms separately. As far as the overall statement and usefulness of this assessment, Overall, we feel that the school functional assessment is an appropriate assessment for children ages 6 through 12 to assess functional ability. The main drawbacks are that it takes between 90 to 120 minutes to administer, and it is not free to use. However, there is no special training needed to administer, and it uses standardized tests within the assessment, which contribute to its high validity and reliability. Thank you for listening.
Hi everyone, we are going to be going over the school functional assessment. My name is Natalie, this is Camille. So first we have the rating scale guide. And this is the record form. And there's also a user manual that usually comes with it, but we don't have it here in the department. Okay, so to start out with, the school functional assessment was designed to help identify a student's strengths and limitations performing school-related functional tasks. The school functional assessment has 3 parts, each of which examines a different aspect of school-related function. Part 1 is participation in school activity settings, 2 is task supports, and 3 is activity performance. And so we'll start by having the therapist fill out the record form, and she's going to start by entering her initials and the student's name and relationship to the student in one of the respondent spaces. Now open the record form and complete the following steps. Check that your initials are entered in the space marked respondent's initials next to each scale you will complete. Now go to the first scale you were asked to complete and follow the directions to assign the ratings. Complete each scale you were assigned following the directions provided. And it's important to keep this guide open to the appropriate pages to help you while you are determining the ratings. So for part 1, participation, for the sake of time, I'm just going to go over 2 sections per the 3 main parts. So for part 1, participation, I'm going to assess Natalie's playground and recess. So it says free time spent in classroom, gym, or playground, including both physical and social emotional aspects of participation. Includes playing games involving physical activity, using playground equipment, following rules, and playing cooperatively with peers. If the student has recess in a place separate from all or most peers, the student's participation should be rated as a 1, participation extremely limited. So I'll rate Natalie on a scale from 1, participation extremely limited, to 6, which is the highest score. So I'm going to give her a 4 for playground and recess. Then for transitions, which is another section, moving from one area or room of the school to another, including lining up, moving in crowded corridors or aisles, negotiating doorways, following directions and rules, and maintaining appropriate social behavior. So I'm going to give her a score of 3. Okay? And this is what it looks like. And in the actual assessment, you would score each section. But for sake of time, I'm just going to do 2. Then for part 2, there is physical tasks and cognitive behavioral tasks. For the sake of time, I'll do 1 from each. For physical tasks, I'm going to use eating and drinking. Using all needed utensils, eating and drinking a typical meal, including drinking from a cup without spilling, using a napkin to wipe face and hands, completing mealtime, snack time tasks in the time allowed, and drinking from student-accessible water fountain. I will score the assistance and the adaptations for this section. So for her assistance, I'll give her a 3. For adaptations, I'll give her a 4. Okay? And then for the cognitive behavioral tasks, for behavior regulation, which is accepting changes in routine, refraining from provoking others, resolving conflicts either independently or with adult assistance as appropriate, maintaining control around large groups of students, handling frustration, refraining from self-stimulatory behavior. For assistance, I'll give her a 2, and for adaptations, I'll give her a 3. Okay? This is what it looks like. Then we'll go to section 3, activity performance. And again, it has a physical tasks area and then a cognitive behavioral tasks area. And I will do one from each. So there's several sections under the physical tasks for activity performance. I'm just going to choose one from using materials. We'll do number 14, cuts with scissors along a line. I'm going to give her a 2 because she maybe struggles with that. And then for activity performance under cognitive behavioral tasks, I'll go with the subsection of memory and understanding. And we'll do number 3, demonstrates memory of routines and structures from day to day. Maybe Natalie's really good at that, so I'm going to give her a 4. So after I would have given her a score for every single section within the 3 parts, I would take all of those scores and put them on the back, which is the score form.
So now we are going to show you how to interpret these score results. So in the far left column that Camille is holding, where all the numbers are recorded, are the total raw scores for each of the 3 parts of the assessment. And to the right of that is the criterion score, which you would find from the user manual, as well as the standard error score. And then to the right of that, you would circle the criterion cutoff score for this child, which would be either K through 3 or 4 through 6. And then you're going to go over to the functional profile section and put the client's initials and the date. And then under that, you're going to fill out all of the total participation scores, which lists the setting and the rating underneath. And then at the graph below, you're going to plot all of the criterion scores on the table on a scale from 0 to 100. 0 being little to no function, and 100 meaning no disability in that performance area. Then you'll plot the X's according to the child's performance, and scores may be varied in different areas.